This is the story of Seo-jun, where he grew stronger by farming and evolving his pets by giving them his special juice, making them thick. Thick. What the? In the previous episode, we saw how Theo, after encountering Instagram for the first time, got a brilliant idea. He proceeded to take multiple cute photos of himself alongside the big melon girl. Then he recorded a video of himself striking a cute pose and announced that anyone who wanted to meet him could do so on the 38th floor. As Theo was on his way home to Seo-jun, an unexpected incident occurred. A group of Silver Tribe wolves attacked Theo and began to threaten him, demanding information about the straw hat. They made it clear that if Theo didn't comply, they would kill him. The situation was on the brink of turning chaotic when something unforeseen happened. A smokescreen enveloped the entire area, and police officer Zareth came to Theo's rescue. She managed to save him from the dire situation. Meanwhile, the CEO of the government company and Jenny were filled with joy as they celebrated their successful planting of magical cherry tomato seeds on the first floor of the tower. They believed that this move would allow them to mass-produce the magical cherry tomatoes. The scene then shifts, and we see a wandering merchant officer handing Theo a silver token. Theo happily holds the coin in his hands, and the officer warmly congratulates Theo for getting promoted to a high mid-level merchant. Theo, filled with excitement and wearing a warm smile, raises his hand and proudly shouts that he has finally become a high mid-level merchant. Today's like goal is 5,100 likes. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Now let's continue. Theo turns back, proudly showing his silver badge around his chest, and smiles as Zareth congratulates him, calling him the best. Theo replies with a thankful nod and mentions that their work is done for now, and they need to head to the trading market. He has something important to buy. Upon hearing the term trading market, Zareth's facial expression turns serious. She knows that the trading market is a place where only mid-high level merchants and higher level merchants can enter. It's one of the largest trading arenas in the entire tower. In this trading market, there's an auction house where one can buy various items, ranging from farming equipment to crafting materials to even underwear and condoms. You can find almost anything there as long as you're willing to pay for it. After a while, Theo and Zareth finally reached the trading hall. As Zareth followed Theo from behind, she couldn't help but feel a bit worried. While Theo walked confidently without a care in the world, Zareth narrowed her eyes in deep thought. This place was unlike the low-level markets that Theo used to visit. It was on a whole different level compared to the junkyards Theo frequented. Zareth was genuinely curious about what skills Theo would use in this new environment. However, before she could finish her thoughts, Theo suddenly stopped, announcing that they had reached their destination. He seemed genuinely interested in the shop in front of him. As Zareth glanced at the shop, she noticed a pouch symbol on the signboard. She then realized this was just an ordinary shop selling daily household items. Without wasting any time, Theo and Zareth entered the shop. Theo picked up a saw, some needles, threads, a frying pan, and a pot, placing them on the counter. He asked the store owner about the total cost for all these items. Zareth continued to observe Theo, and she couldn't help but notice that the store owner was a hyena with big teeth and sharp claws. Before Theo could say anything further, Zareth started speaking. She asked if Theo was buying these household items to resell them on other floors at a higher price. She expressed her concern, saying it was a really bad idea because these items were not in demand and no one would buy them. Theo casually replied that these items were not for resale. He needed them for someone else. He emphasized that he only sold cherry tomatoes for a living. Hearing this, Zareth frustratedly held her head and exclaimed, "Cherry tomatoes again!" She was clearly stressed, thinking back to when Theo had told her that he had reached a high-level mid-merchant status and collected 1,000 tower coins by selling cherry tomatoes. At that time, she had thought Theo was just messing with her, as he didn't want to reveal his merchant secrets. Now, she wasn't sure if he was telling the truth or not. The store owner, Heine, with a smiling face, said, "The total bill is 2.4 tower coins only." Zareth, upon hearing this amount, paused for a moment. Then she glanced at the utensils with an annoyed face, thinking that these pots and needles were much cheaper than 2.4 tower coins. Even if you combined all the things that Theo had bought, their total bill should not be more than 2 tower coins. In her imagination, she pictured the store owner, Heine, wearing a heavy suit of armor with a wicked smile, while Theo stood there in poor armor looking like a novice who didn't know anything. She concluded by saying that the store owner was ripping Theo off. With a serious expression, Zareth was pondering how Theo would counter this professional merchant. But before she could come up with any ideas, a voice echoed saying, "Give me a discount." In her imagination, she saw Theo launching an attack on the Heine shop owner. In one swift slash, Theo disarmed the store owner, leaving him in shock. Then, she saw Theo in reality slamming his hand on the store counter and demanding a discount with a dead serious expression, glaring into the stone owner's eyes. This left Zareth speechless, with her mouth hanging open. She had expected Theo to use some mighty merchant skill, but he was just being reckless once again. The Heine store owner, still maintaining his warm smile, replied that he was already selling the goods at the lowest possible price. He suggested that Theo could go and check the market prices at other stores, as they were also selling at the same price. He emphasized that the quality of the goods in his store was the best in the entire trading market, making the price reasonable. Theo, however, just stood there, glaring at the store owner without uttering a single word. After a while, still maintaining his sweet smile, the store owner, while rubbing his hands, decided to make an offer. He mentioned that since Theo was new to his store and appeared to be a gentleman and a nice guy, he would give a big discount and sell all the goods for 2.2 tower coins. But from Zareth's perspective, the Heine store owner appeared to be smiling wickedly and excitedly, attempting to overcharge Theo for the products. She explained that this store owner was playing a mental game where they initially set high prices for goods and then gradually reduced them, making customers believe they were getting a good deal when, in reality, they were being fooled into paying higher prices. Zareth imagined the store owner with deadly red eyes brutally attacking Theo, with Theo barely dodging the attacks. With a worried expression, Zareth thought that this store owner was not easygoing and was definitely a veteran merchant. This time, Theo might not get away unscathed. However, a voice echoed around the shop, demanding more of a discount with a deep tone. In Zareth's imagination, she saw Theo forcefully slashing the store owner's armor with his shabby sword. Back in reality, Theo continued to shout for a bigger discount, leaving the store owner bewildered and unsure of what to do next. The store owner, Heine, with a poker face, replied to Theo that he was already selling the goods at wholesale prices and barely making any profit from the trade. He explained that since Theo seemed like a nice guy, he couldn't lower the price any further. Theo, realizing that the store owner was not lowering the price, Theo decided to use the legendary technique that Seo Jun had taught him. He referred to it as the technique that every Asian mom uses, the ultimate bargain technique of moms, and with that, Theo turned and began walking away. With a confident tone, he stated that he didn't want to buy anything and would just go home. He called for Zareth to come with him, leaving her clearly confused by the unfolding events. Meanwhile, the store owner was left even more confused and shocked by this unexpected turn of events. Then, Zareth stopped Theo and asked him with a worried tone why he wasn't going to buy the goods. Theo, still maintaining his confident demeanor, replied that since the store owner wasn't offering a bigger discount, he would buy the products, but he had seen another shop nearby where he could definitely get a better deal. Hearing this, the store owner became annoyed, let out a sigh, and stopped Theo. He remarked that Theo was impatient and had lost the bargaining battle. He agreed to sell all the goods for 2 tower coins, so Theo didn't have to go to the store next door. However, Theo simply glared at the store owner confidently, came closer, and raised his hand. In an arrogant tone, he declared that he would only buy the products for 1.8 tower coins, or else he would leave the shop. This statement left Zareth in shock, her soul seemingly leaving her body as she stood there like a statue. The store owner, thinking that Theo was not to be underestimated and looked like a professional merchant, considered future potential trades and decided to maintain a friendly relationship. He reluctantly agreed to sell all the goods for 1.8 tower coins, even though he didn't want to. Theo happily thanked the store owner, while Zareth remained in a speechless stupor. In the next moment, as Theo was making the payment and chatting with the store owner, Zareth stood behind, still in a state of shock. She couldn't help but wonder what legendary technique Theo had used to defeat the store owner, a professional merchant who had lost to Theo, a new high mid-level merchant. Zareth's imagination ran wild as she envisioned Theo standing triumphantly on the defeated store owner, holding his sword on his shoulder with a confident smile. Now, seeing all this, Zareth was just wondering. Zareth herself was from a noble merchant family, and she received bargaining education from an early age. But she had never heard or seen something like this. Glaring at the confident Theo, who had completed all his purchases, she said they should leave the shop now. She was thinking, is this naive-looking cat really a pro merchant? Did Theo really make 1,000 tower coins just by selling cherry tomatoes? If that's true, then this is surely a historical moment of a genius merchant being born. Meanwhile, Theo was smiling with his heart content, and he was singing in his mind, happy that the discount trick Seo Jun had taught him had worked. He had also bought all the things that Seo Jun had told him to buy. Then the scene shifted, and we saw Theo and Zerath walking in the trading market. Suddenly, Zerath stopped and said that she would be leaving now. Theo turned back, asking why she was leaving so early and mentioning that they hadn't even had a meal. He was about to treat Zerath, but she replied with a kind and warm smile that she had already troubled Theo enough and didn't want to bother him further. She expressed her gratitude for everything she had learned from him, and apologized if she had caused any inconvenience or bothered him in any way. Theo looked confused and asked what she meant by teaching her anything special, as he didn't recall doing so. Then Zerath, still maintaining her smile, replied, "It's nothing." She then warned Theo to be careful from now on, as the Silver Wolf tribe might attack him again in the future. With this final goodbye, Zerath started walking away from Theo. He watched her go for a while and then, with a mischievous smile, said, "What a strange fox she was." Theo turned back, raised both his hands high, and started walking forward while singing and expressing his desire to return to the cave quickly for a good nap, as he was feeling really sleepy. The scene then shifted to the building of the Tower Police. Inside that building, Zerath was writing something. She stopped writing, closed her eyes, and sat at her chair. Just then, her assistant entered her room, informing her that the director wanted to meet Zerath to inquire about the stolen straw hat. Zerath handed a document to her assistant, indicating that she would visit the director. The assistant, after examining the document, asked Zerath if it was related to the wandering merchant cat they suspected of being a smuggler. Zerath, dressed in her police uniform, confirmed that it was. However, according to her investigation, she believed that Theo was not a smuggler but a genuinely good and honest merchant. She instructed her assistant to inform everyone not to spy on Theo and to let them know that Theo was innocent of smuggling. Zerath, fully dressed and looking out at the sky from her window with a proud smile, said, "For the first time in a long time I met a real merchant," while her assistant listened with a proud expression. Then the scene shifted, and we are back to Seo Jun. He was once again placing corn leaves on top of the peanut seeds, and the baby bear was helping him. After a few hours of hard work, they successfully covered the entire farm with corn leaves to lock in the moisture. Seo Jun stood there with a proud look, and the white rabbit was busy watering the peanut seeds. Suddenly, from behind Seo Jun, the warrior rabbit came rushing and shouting something in panic. The warrior rabbit was in a frenzy, trying to convey a message to Seo Jun, but Seo Jun couldn't understand a single word. Meanwhile, the chubby rabbit stood behind the warrior rabbit, raising both hands with a smile. After a while, Seo Jun finally understood that the warrior rabbit was pointing towards the ponds. Seo Jun, with the queen bee sitting on his shoulder, reached the pond and gazed at it intently, trying to figure out what was happening. The warrior rabbit and the cart were also fixated on the pond, and the white rabbit, looking a bit scared, was hiding beside Seo Jun's foot. Inside the pond, there were crayfish-like monsters with red and juicy bodies. As Seo Jun finally noticed the crayfish, he was deeply shocked and surprised. Seo Jun and all his monster pets were just staring at the mysterious crayfish in astonishment. Seo Jun wondered how these crayfish-like monsters had ended up in the pond. He pondered whether they had come through the hole he had seen a few days back. However, he immediately dismissed the thought, and instead imagined a plate filled with delicious and juicy crayfish. He decided that he would make the most mouth-watering dish with these crayfish that no one had ever tasted before. As Seo Jun daydreamed about the delectable crayfish dish, he couldn't help but drool with anticipation. The white rabbit and the warrior rabbit were lost in their own fantasies, imagining the savory crayfish delights. The queen bee couldn't contain her excitement, looking forward to indulging in Seo Jun's special and juicy creation. Without wasting another minute, Seo Jun prepared to catch the crayfish. He took out his dagger, and the warrior rabbit wielded his hammer. Seo Jun stood there confidently, ready to attack the unsuspecting crayfish, who had no idea what was about to befall them. The other rabbit was equally excited, and the queen bee buzzed with anticipation. In the next moment, they began their hunt to capture and prepare the crayfish for a delicious meal. So with this, the video ends here. Please type part 32 inches in the comments. Thanks for watching.